Morning, everybody. Let's talk about the prophetic word again today. We're going to go to Nehemiah chapter 7, verse 1, and then we're going to go to Genesis chapter 10, verse 5, and then to Revelation 10, 11. And if you have time, go ahead and like and subscribe and comment on this channel. God bless you. Let's begin in the prophetic word today. Nehemiah chapter 7. Verse 1, Then it was when the wall was built, and I had hung the doors, when the gatekeepers, the singers, and the Levites had been appointed. The key word here, let's stop there in Nehemiah 7:1. The key word is when. Then it was when the wall was built, and I had hung the doors, when the gatekeepers, the singers, and the Levites had been appointed. Someone listening to this video is coming to the end of a work. When these things were done, something takes place. When the wall was built, and I had hung the doors, when the gatekeepers, the singers, and the Levites had been appointed. Genesis 10:5. From these, the coastland peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families, into their nations. What the Lord, I think, is telling us here is that when the particular job is done that God has called you to, then there's going to be a separation. The job that you have done and the things that involve the job that you have done have caused a unity and a community of people to come together to get the job done. You've been a part of that community of people to get the job done. The second verse, Genesis 10:5, from these, the coastland peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families, and to their nations. Don't be surprised that that unity and that community begins to break up. That's an earmark of you being done with what God has called you to do. It begins to break up. From these, the coastland peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families, into their nations. So that's going to be a key earmark, a key characteristic of what you know that the work that you are doing, that God has called you to do, is finishing. And then thirdly, and he said to me, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Revelation 10:11. What the Lord is doing is that you're finishing up a work, and then he's giving you a characteristic of knowing when that work will be done, a particular characteristic, and then he's reminding you of the calling. Understand that when this work is done, it does not mean that God is done with you. It means that you are done, he is done with you in that particular work. It's like a hammer that hammers nails and a saw that saws and cuts wood. There's a specific tool for every job that God uses, and you are a particular spiritual tool and physical and emotional tool in someone's life that when that work is done, you begin to see a separation. It's exactly like a bird wanting to leave the nest, so to speak. And they fly on their own. There was a unity, it seems. Now there's a disconnect, but it's a positive disconnect. It's a disconnect based on maturity, based on the work being done. And so God is reminding you in Revelation 10:11, and he said to me, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. Those who are prophetic and have a prophetic ministry, God is reminding you that there is other work to be done. Those who are in a prayer ministry or a works ministry or pastor or teacher or evangelist ministry, word of knowledge ministry, prophetic words, words of wisdom, encouragement, All those different things that we do as believers and how the body is made up, God is reminding you that once this work is done, do not believe your emotions or what's going through your mind, that God is done with you. He is letting you know that this work is done. So that's my encouragement to you. God bless you. Have a great day.